Now we're going to take a look at the new Motion Mixer feature. This is a new feature in Character Studio Release 4. Very handy for mixing motions from different motion files. So we're going to start with our basic biped file. Select the biped and on the motion panel, click Mixer. This opens up the Motion Mixer. Now it also loads the biped here. If you had more than one biped in the scene, you could also load additional bipeds and have different tracks for each biped. Now these tracks here are sort of a linear representation of the motion you're going to apply to the biped. And this all here, this indicates that whatever clips we put on this track are going to affect all body parts in the biped. As you might know, you can actually set it up so that the clip only affects certain parts of the body, and you can have different clips affecting the arms, the legs, and so on. But we're just going to start by having a clip affect everything. So here we select the track, right click, and we've got new clips from files. This is how we get a clip onto the track. So let's pick one of our clips. How about our walk wave? We're familiar with that one. And that goes beyond frame 100. So what we can do is set the range, and this changes the length of your animation so it will accommodate the entire clip. So now our animation is 223 frames long. If we want to see the whole thing, we can do a zoom extents, and there we go. And there's our clip. Now, when you open the Motion Mixer, this also turns on this Mixer Mode button. When Mixer Mode is on, the biped is going to do what you have set up here in the mixer. So that's all set and ready to go. So we could just play the animation, and so the biped is doing the motion. He's waving. Now, if we turn off Motion Mixer, he doesn't do anything, because we didn't put a BIP file on him. If you load a BIP file, he'll do that when Mixer Mode is off. Now we turn it back on, and let's see some different things we can do with this clip. One thing we can do is we can trim the clip. What this does is this shortens the clip, so it doesn't change the speed of the clip at all. The whole clip is still there, but he's only going to do the first 40 frames of motion, and then he'll be done. Let's bring this back out again. Now, if Trim Clips is off, and you do that, what that does is that compresses that clip. So he'll do all the motion, he'll just do it a lot faster in that short time. So you can see that in the Motion Mixer you can actually speed up motion. You can tell it that you want it to take place over a much shorter or a longer period of time. We could extend it. Now, if you want to see whether something has been lengthened or shortened, you could turn on your preferences and turn on scales. Now, what this shows you here is 0.74 indicates that the clip is about 3/4. It's shorter than it originally was, and it's about 3/4 of its original length. And as you pull this back, the number changes, so you can just change it back to 1, and the clip will play at its original speed. Got some little artifacts there on the screen. Oh, he's wiped them out. That's great. Now, one of the coolest things we can do with this is we can set it up so that the legs follow one clip and the arms follow another, or any body part for that matter. So what we can do is add another track group, and I'll explain what that is as we do it. So if we click on this all and right click, we can say Add Track Group below. Now, originally when you first open the mixer, there's just one track group for the whole body. Now we have 2 track groups, and each of them says all. But what we really want to do is set up one for the upper body and one for the lower body. A track group is an entire track that affects one particular set of body parts. So let's choose this one, All, right click, and choose Filter. This brings up a little representation of the biped. Right now, all of the biped parts, all the available ones, are selected. We don't have any props or a tail or a ponytail, so those aren't available at all. Let's click None, and let's use the upper body only. And we could change the name here. You could call it Arms if you like. Press Enter. OK. Now we can see here upper body. So this is only going to affect the upper body. And if you pull the time slider, you'll see that it's working. The legs aren't doing anything, just the spine and the arms. Then we can change this one, filter it. We can say None. If we could choose Legs and Center and turn off Spine, and then we have lower body. So the label you put in here is just whatever label you want to have. So let's put another clip in there. We right click, New Clips, from Files. And what are we going to use for the lower body? Let's do our little dance turn. Remember that one? Let's see how that looks. Does a little turn, and the arms are still going. So basically you've got one clip from the upper body, one clip for the lower body. And let's just go ahead and save that. And we'll call it MM01 for Motion Mixer 01. Now suppose we want his feet to keep going and doing some of this dance turn move. There's a couple of things we could do. One is we could try doing some tiling. And here we could right click on this clip and choose Tile View or Tile Range. Tile View is going to tile the clip all within this area we can see, and Range does it till the end of the animation. So in this case, either one of those is going to tile the clip. So there it goes, and it can't fit another one here, so it's not going to put it there for now. Let's just see how that looks. Up he goes, and it just tiles it over and over again. It just repeats it with no blending at all. This is okay if you've got something going on that is truly a loop and is set up to loop. For example, if you've got a toe tapping or a hand going up and down and up and down. But in this case, it's not really working. So we can just click this and delete these from our timeline. Instead, what we might want to do is do a transition between two clips. And what that will do is that will create a transition similar to what you might see in Motion Flow, what you would do in Motion Flow, where it just continues along steadily in a stream. Now, in order to do that, we need to put a transition on this one track, and we don't have enough room. So what we have to do is right-click, and we need to convert this to a transition track. Right now it's what's called a layer track, which only has room for one clip at a time. If we convert to transition track, we have a couple of rows here where we can put different clips. So I can select this one and hold down Shift and copy it up here. And these brackets here show me where the transition is going to be as I copy. So let's see how that looks. Comes around, lands, and then we've got a transition. That's actually not too bad. Well, let's take a look at how we can make it even better. One thing you can do is you can right-click the transition and you can use Optimize, the same optimization that works in Motion Flow. Well, let's just use 10 for the transition length, and it's put it a little bit earlier. Let's see how that looks. Right around frame 36. Oh, it's not as good. I like the other one better. So what you can do is you can actually just pick up the transition and slide one end of it, slide the other end of it, and you can move the clip. So this is similar to using video editing software. You basically put the transitions wherever you want. Now, you wouldn't want a transition to come out this far because there's no clip here. Transitions, in general, should be in a place where both clips overlap. Let's see how that looks. That's pretty good. And like clips in the Motion Flow, You can also edit the transition. Let's see if we can make it so we can see the feet here. And as he comes up, we can see both of the yellow and the red here. So we could fiddle around with this a little bit and try to make the transition a little bit tighter. And maybe center it on the right foot, so the right foot stays still. And there is still a bit of sliding here, but we might be able to make that a little bit better. And I'll show you how in just a moment. So right now we've got our fellow here. We've got something interesting going on in the viewport. There we go. And he steps forward, turns, and then steps forward and turns again. And then waves. Looks pretty good. So let's save that with a plus. Let's go back and try our optimized transition again. Let's go with a transition length of 15. And when we look at that, we see a little bit of sliding. But let's try one of our other motion mixer tools called a mixdown. You can right-click on the biped name and choose Compute Mixdown. And we've got our mixdown options that come up. You can choose to have a keyframe per frame. We're going to leave this turned off. We can choose to enforce IK constraints. What this does is this basically says glue the foot down when you can. So we're going to leave that on and see how that works for us. This filter hyperextended legs, if gluing a foot down causes a knee to go really rigid, this will bring the heel up so that the knee can bend a little bit. That usually doesn't happen, but it's there in case we need it. There's our mixdown computing, and now we have this new track called Mixdown. Let's take a look at our transition now. So he turns, and we don't have any more sliding. Look at that over the transition time. A mixdown will often fix minor sliding problems, especially if you use them in conjunction with an optimized transition. The optimized transition itself might not look that great, but it tends to work really well with a mixdown, gluing that foot down and giving you a really nice transition. You can also turn the mixdown track off by clicking on it, and then you can see your original motion. And you can also add more motions to this. We're going to put another transition to this here. Let's optimize that one as well. We'll make this one shorter, 8. And see how that looks. Also sliding, but we'll compute another mixdown. Right click here. Compute Mixdown. Turns it on automatically. And now we have a couple of nice smooth transitions. Now we do have a little problem here. You see this foot is coming through the other foot. This will happen from time to time. And when it does, there's a couple things you can do. One is you can try and change the transition so that the mixdown won't do that. But if you're pretty happy with the motion overall, see, this is occurring when this foot is not glued down. So you could easily place a key there. So if you're happy with the motion overall and you're done with all your mixing, you can use this mixdown and put it on the biped, almost like a BIP file. And the way you do that is you would right click and say copy mixdown to biped. So now you could turn off your mixer mode over here, and all those keys are present. The biped is doing what you told it to do. And at this point, where the foot flies through like this, you can just find the nearest key which is right about here. Put on auto key, and we can move that foot away. Oh, what have we got here? It is set down. Well, we could set a free key for it and move it away, and then you won't have that problem anymore. So once you've copied the mix down to the biped, you can, let's take a better look, you can make all kinds of keyframe changes to it. So we can bring this down a little bit, over, to make it look more natural. So once you've got things done in the mixer, it's just a matter of animating the same way you always do. So the mixer is great for adding together all these motions and using more than one bip file on a biped.